What's up everybody, my name's Roosh and we're back with another video. This time, we're going to be talking about style. Style is like a signature without words. It's the first thing people notice in your work. When you're drawing and you're a beginner, typically you will have someone's style in mind. The thing is, style just doesn't come out of the blue. You need to work on it. It has to be something that you train and you try to get better at. And I'm going to be teaching you guys 4 steps that you need to be taking if you want to develop your own style. And after I tell you guys the 4 steps, I'm going to explain it to you by showing you how I did it. Step number 1 is to just get inspired. You should try to be inspired by more than just one artist. You need to find several at least. The problem with finding just one artist to be inspired off of is that you're going to be replicating their work most of the time, and you're going to just end up being a second version of them. So that's a big no-no. You don't want to be doing that. Get inspired by several different artists and try to see what you like in their work, and then we can work on trying to take that and put it in your own work. Step number 2, what you gotta do after you find people that you're inspired by is to deviate from the source material. And by that, I mean, let's say you like Spyro the Dragon. So all you do is draw Spyro over and over again. You need to find reference. What you're gonna do is draw Spyro from different screenshots, different poses, and you just replicate exactly as you see. You replicate it so that it looks like you are the artist who created Spyro in the first place. It's gonna take a while to get the hang of this, as in you have to do this a long time. Several months even if you're a novice, and that means drawing it over and over again every day. I used to draw Mugen a lot, and I mean a lot. I would spend so much time drawing him that eventually I got the hang of drawing him like the guys from the show. I wasn't as good as the animators, but I was getting there. Once I drew Mugen enough times, I was able to draw him from different angles, different expressions, because I understood the style. Once you've mastered one style, then you should begin moving on to another style and start replicating that, doing the same thing, drawing it from source material without any deviation at first, right? Just copying exactly what you see, and then once you get the hang of it and you know how to create that character without any reference off the top of your head, then you start merging those 2 styles together, right? You take things that you like from one and from the other and you put them together and you create your own style. Because if you just stick to one style and you just replicate that one style over and over again, you're gonna have people on social media calling you a this and that copycat, right? And you don't want to be that. You don't want to be in that situation. So at least get 2 styles. The more the merrier. Even if you're at an advanced level, you don't stop developing your style, because every day you'll see something new. You'll be really inspired by it and you want to take it and put it in your own work. So then we get to step number 3. This 3rd step is one that people should do more often, and that's experiment with different mediums. If you just stick to pencils, you're gonna get really good with pencil style, but you're never really gonna know how you would draw with a pen, or let's say on a digital platform. Master different medium, because you never know what you might learn in one medium and you'll try to replicate it in others. So for me, you'll notice that I had this issue going on where I would jump from traditional to digital, pencil to pen. And the thing is, I really fell in love with each process. Every time I would move on to a new medium, I would take with me what I learned in the previous. Let's say I learned how to sketch with pencil and I moved on to ballpoint. I would try to replicate that with my ballpoint. And then once I go back onto Procreate on my iPad, I would replicate what I just learned with my ballpoint with the brushes that I have on Procreate. All right, and then the final step, step number 4. You have all this down. You've been inspired, you've been deviating from the source material, been experimenting with different mediums, but you don't really know what to draw aside from the characters that you're into. Let's say you just like drawing Samurai Champloo characters. You can't just draw Samurai Champloo characters all the time, because, you know, it's already been done. You should try something new. You should be coming up with ideas, and that's step number 4. Find ideas, find things that you can create that will inspire the next generation. One thing that I like to do is I like to write things down. I find that drawing stuff just on the whim, I don't really create the best things, but that's why I started a graphic novel and started doing Kings of Nowheres, because I needed ideas to draw, and it's more fun having things to draw when I already know the characters, I know their background, and I know who they are. So I have more investment in drawing these characters, and I can make some incredible scenes with them just because I have a story to tell. Find different ways to inspire yourself. Write down stuff, take photos outside, go outside, do sports, get a hobby that's not art related, bring that into your own work, and then you will have something that is truly your own. So now that you guys know the 4 steps, we're going to learn how to build your own style exactly as how I used to do it, but sped up by about 20,000 times. My audio wasn't connected, so now I have to go over it and try to make sense. Initially, I start off with the Spyro. So what I noticed with Spyro immediately is that he's pretty friendly looking. Even though he's a confident guy, he's very rounded, but the only things that make him look a little intimidating are the spikes on his head and the horns that he got. But aside from that, he's actually very friendly looking. He looks like he's meant for kids, and probably why I was obsessed with him when I was a kid. I was the kind of kid who would be like, yo, my name's Spyro. The teacher would be like, no, your name's not Spyro. You don't call me by anything other than Spyro. So that was me. I was obsessed with Spyro. I drew him a lot because I just played the games a lot. I'm using the hard ink brush for this piece, and it's one of the brushes that I have available on my Patreon, and it's the brush that I use primarily for Kings of Nowhere Volume 2. What you'll notice with it is it's very easy to create precise lines, very crisp edges, and it's fantastic for hatching because that's primarily what I do. I like to hatch with all of my brushes. But it allows me to create almost this manga feel, but as if done with a lead pencil and scanned and leveled out, so it's very contrasted. It's absolutely amazing. I love this brush. I've been using it for the past year now on almost all my work. So while I'm making this piece, I'm trying my best to not deviate at all from the source material. I have the image there, and I'm trying to make sure that my own style right now doesn't seep into this at all. Even though it is a little bit, I'm doing my best to hold back, not to add those extra wrinkles and extra details that don't need to be there. I'm trying to just see what the image is and just copy it exactly as I see it. So when you're doing this for yourself and you're trying to build a style, build it so that you get to the point where you master that style. So if people are looking at it and they can tell that one was copied from the other, that's a no-go. You shouldn't be doing that. It should be so precise and so exact that it looks like you were there helping create that character. Next up, one of my favorite characters as a kid, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Huge contrast from Spyro. Doesn't look anything alike. If anything, it's the predator that eats Spyro. What I have to take away from this is that he is so much more angular. And like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh characters, a lot more edgy, very contrasted compared to Spyro especially. So I was trying to make sure that I kept that contrast in and kept that angular look. I'm trying to do my best to keep it looking exactly like it. And for this piece, I was using the soft ink brush, which is almost exactly the same as the hard ink brush except at a lower opacity. And it replicates a 2B pencil, maybe 3B pencil, very dark, very creamy on the surface of the iPad. I use a paper-like as well, so it really helps create this paper-like feel. Who would have thought? I love the soft ink. I use it mostly for shading. So if I use the hard ink to do line work, then if I want to do interior shading, I'll use the soft ink almost every time because it just lets me create this pencil-like feel. And while I'm doing this piece, it's very easy to create those contrasts, create those shapes. When I'm using the soft ink, I'm able to use the brush in a little bit of a larger size because I can taper it off more. I can control the opacity very easily. So also one thing that I need you guys to notice is, especially if you're a beginner digital artist, is to not zoom in so much when you're working. That is a big no-no. What I noticed when I was working traditionally versus digitally was that I was doing work much quicker while I did it with pencil and paper. I was trying to see what it was that I was doing so differently. I was thinking, am I like just slower with the digital brushes? Do I erase more? And it wasn't that. What I realized was that I was zooming in so much that I was focusing on details that weren't important. So try to make sure that you do not make that a habit. Have it at a size that you can see most of the image, if not all of the image. Make sure you don't spend so much time on one piece because it's very important to move on to the next piece, just so you can get better, right? If you're in a beginner stage, you don't want to be spending 3-4 days on a single drawing. You want to be doing several drawings a day just so you can level up that much quicker. I also had to make some anatomical changes compared to the Yu-Gi-Oh card itself, such as the tongue. In the card image, the tongue just kept going straight into the throat. Like it was going to the roof of the mouth, if anything. So I had to make it a little more anatomically correct, but without deviating too much. And that's the most important part about this step, not to deviate, because I'm just taking the source material, I'm trying to copy it exactly as I see it. Once I got this guy down, it's now time to merge the two together. I'm going to make them have a baby. Spyro and Red Eyes Black Dragon. Who would have thought? Couple of the year 2020 is wild. But they're going to make Red Eyes Purple Loser, right? Or at least I'm going to think he's going to be a loser. I already recorded this before I messed up, so I know the outcome's actually going to be pretty cool. He is going to be sick. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I take that cute cuddly roundness from Spyro and that edgelord Red Eyes Black Dragon vibes and combine the two together. While I'm creating this piece, the main goal is to mix the two 50-50 as much as I can. So I'm trying to take that contrast from the Red Eyes Black Dragon and I'm trying to take that bubbliness from Spyro, the purple dragon, and combine those two together. Red Eyes Black Dragon got feral eyes, no pupils. He's ready to devour you, crap you out, devour you again, crap you out another time, and then burn you to a crisp and send you to hell. Whereas Spyro, he's trying to, headbutt you maybe once or twice and then go off and do his own thing. So I add the pupils on this guy, kind of makes it more, he can talk. At least he might be wild, he might be rambunctious, but he can talk. If anything, he kind of starts to look a little more like an adult Spyro with those hard edges. But I'm doing my best to take as much information from those both and combine it together. What I'm using for this piece is the Comet Hb Brush. So I created this brush primarily for volume 1 of Kings of Nowhere, and what you can notice is that I can take up a lot of space very quickly. Super easy to shade with this brush. So this brush it's more like Conte stick, right? For light drawing. Imagine a Y pencil. It's very easy to use. If the soft ink brush was like butter, then this one is just water, bro. It's so soft, it's so easy to use. And adding shadows and all that is very simple. But what you can see is I created planes and then I shade those planes in. And I'm trying my best to make sure that I follow one light source and it looks good. And in the end, I think we ended up with something that is completely new, a new style. I mean, someone probably does this style, some furry guy out there. Not me though. But this style, you could work off of this, right? Let's say you studied Spyro and Spyro characters and you studied Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh characters a whole bunch of time. Then you can combine those two and you have yourself a brand new style, something that is your own. I'm not saying to do this, don't draw Spyro and Red Eyes Black Dragon just because I told you to. Find something that inspires you, right? Remember step 1? Find something that inspires you in several things and start working off of that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I've been just screwing up. I didn't even put the camera in focus. Audio wasn't attached to anything. It's been 2 days since I filmed the other parts. I went and got a haircut, shaved a bit, got myself some toys. Just kidding, I use this for reference, guys. It's not real. Anyways, I hope you guys took in what I was talking about developing your own style, keeping those 4 points in mind at all times. It's gonna be a long process. You don't just go through this 4 in like a month or 2, especially if you're just getting into art. If you're just thinking about going into the field of comics or animation and you're new to all of this process takes several years to get it complete. I would say I started building my style when I was maybe 14 or 15, and Samurai Champloo was the reason that I even started thinking about developing my own style. Before that, I would just draw. I used to draw a lot of animals, I would draw still life, I would draw cars here and there, but there was never a style. I was just drawing it just to imitate real life. And it was once I started to get inspired by anime and then movies and seeing different artists' interpretation of real life, that's when I started to really look into making my own style, right? And I would start to look for things that were similar to Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai, and then Cowboy Bebop, and so on. It would just keep rolling and rolling, and eventually moved away from anime, and I started to look more into artists like Kim Jung-gi and Sung Yoon Kim. If you guys really want to try out the brushes that I have, please hit up my Patreon. I have 3 brushes for you guys. They're excellent. If you guys have questions about how to use them to their full potential, you can always talk to me on the Discord, which is attached to my Patreon. We can chat away, have a good time. And if you want to advance on your skills, you can talk to other like-minded artists. We're all growing together, we're helping each other out, and we're trying to make sure that each of us become the best artists that we can be. So, thank you guys for tuning in for this video. I hope you guys have a great day. I had an awesome time making this, and I can't wait to make the next one. All right, peace!